Hey everybody and welcome! Today's stream, I am not gonna lie, I am like super excited about because I've been kind of picking a lot of the projects, myself just to kind of get us started, and then you guys have been awesome in just helping me shape them along the way, and sometimes they start as one thing and then they end up being something completely different, like our Franken lightning detector. But it's because of you guys that it's just gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna put it up behind me so we both can enjoy it. And for that project, I was actually thinking of making one of those hour-long videos, kind of like the Yuletide logs that we do during holiday times and Christmas times, where you just like leave it up on your TV. So that might be kind of neat, and just watch the castle. So that would be kind of like a nice, hauntingly good holiday time. I'll put some like Christmas balls and stuff on it, for the holidays. But that's one idea I had. But I see you guys already joining, and Dave Beck is already with the food. And now he's got me thinking if we should do kind of like a project cook combination show. It's just kind of like a cooking show, but with projects and stuff. I don't know, you have me thinking here. So this is kind of our first plan together type of stream. And so I have your comments right here, and unbeknownst to you, you see the Discord. Now, some of you prefer to stay on the chats. That's fine. I'll be reading both the YouTube and Twitch chats. But if you want to join me on Discord, that's going to allow you to post links to pictures. So if we're talking ideas and you're having trouble describing, or maybe you're describing it perfectly well and I'm the one having trouble understanding, which is usually the case, you can post pictures. So there's still time to join Discord. You can join it at any time. Totally free. It's basically like a forum, but with live chat. So it moves pretty quickly and we can talk in real time back and forth. I probably won't be typing too much and just kind of reading what you guys are putting on. So here on the screen, you can already see I have Discord up. I'm on here, and you can see a variety of different channels. So when you sign up, you're gonna be in this welcome page right here. And let me just bring up your guys' chat, because you guys are already like throwing stuff out at me. So we have Text Tech here again. Obviously, David Beck, he's usually like the first one. Joe G, hey, of course, car project, and it would help us out regular people. Yes, I'm also regular people, and I need help from time to time as well. We all get stuck. So let's see here. Now, I myself am managing quite a few different windows, so bear with me, on that. But when you sign up, you're gonna end up on this welcome page. It's got like the rules. Please, people, don't make me make this any longer. It's the basic stuff. Keep it family friendly and all that kind of stuff. A little bit about the Wrench Army. If you are in Wrench Army and you are not seeing these channels here, there's a couple help guides to help you connect your account. The Wrench Army channels are just for Wrench Army members, where we post things behind the scenes from the shop. We talk about the direction of the project, throw in additional ideas as these projects evolve. And then down here is just a channel overview. You can just go clicking around the channels, but if you just want to get an overview of some of the channels I created, you can just give it a quick read through here. If you have any ideas for additional channels, like, hey, you totally missed a really important build category, let me know and I'll add it. So the channel we're going to be on is right here, Summer 2021 Project. So rather than herding cats, if you're on Discord, make sure you post all your stuff in this channel so I can catch it all, just like that. So, and let's see, something simple. All right, so Tex Tech is already saying he wants a simple project. All right, we can do that too. And for the project here, you can already see that I've started chiming in, some of my own projects. So feel free to chime yours in through as well, like chat or if you're on Discord. So I do have some guidelines just to kind of keep it realistic. Number one, obviously, is budget. I try and keep these projects within the realm of what the average person can afford. There are amazing builders out there building things that cost like $20,000 and all that. So your average person is just not gonna, have that just lying around, underneath the bed mattress or anything like that. So keeping, the budget affordable for everybody is always great. The time frame, I like to try and keep these projects within like 1 to 3 at the most months worth of streams, and we do stream a minimum of once a week, but quite often it's 2 times a week, and in the future it may actually be 3 times a week. So when you think of a project, think in stream terms, and of course between streams I'm keeping the project moving behind the scenes, so when we pick up where we left off, the project has progressed, and then I just kind of review what I've done. Wrench Army members, I will post usually pictures of progress that I'm doing behind the scenes. So yes, we still have people wanting to keep things simple. Let me pop up a couple more chat boxes here so I can monitor all you guys and give you guys time to join a Discord. Now, the Discord link is in the description of the YouTube video you're watching right now. And if you're on Twitch, just check out the panels below. There'll be a big Discord button that you can hit. And of course, it's going to throw you into this welcome section right here. And then just click on the summer 2021 projects. So to get us started, we talked about budget, we talked about time frame. I personally, and this is not a rule, but I personally like multi-layered projects. So for instance, we may want to build a coffee table, and that's great for basic woodworking, some intermediate woodworking, or a bookcase, all really great things to build. But there's really a ton of videos, you Google that and you're already going to find a ton of videos. So what I like to do, much like we're doing with the lightning detector project, is layer things on top. So fog machines, lighting. So if it were a coffee table, maybe it can be a smart coffee table. Maybe it serves you the coffee, or maybe it files your books. Just find ways to not just have it be woodworking, but tie in other skill sets like electronics or metalworking, that kind of thing. I think it also keeps the projects more accessible to everybody, because not everyone's gonna another woodworking project, but the next stream might be electronics, and it might be something that you're into. Plus, those projects are the ones that challenge me the most, right? So then, of course, is space considerations. The projects need to fit in a certain footprint, so a giant mechazoid and stuff. Those are cool, and we can probably fit one of those in here. But I've had people wanting to do like a full boat restorations or adding V8 engines to boats. Kind of tough to do, in here. And let's see, finally, that's it. I think that's all the guidelines that I could just kind of, throw at you at the top of my head. So to get started, I know some of you guys have some ideas, and then I just kind of like threw out ideas that I've already been getting from you, as well as things that have just been sitting in my brain shelf and stuff. Let's see, where did my little YouTube chat go? There it is. So if you're not already in the Summer 2021 project channel, join me there now, and we'll start to go through these. And I already see somebody is already posting, and it is a live chat, so you don't have to sit there refreshing the page. You can either download the Discord app onto your computer or just use the browser. That's just as easy. So the first project, and I'm going to get to some of your projects. I already see people typing away. The first one I've always wanted to do was some kind of no-weld go-kart. Electric, so I don't have to store stinky fuel or have to transport it if I want to take the go-kart somewhere. There's plenty of weld go-karts, and I'm happy to do that as well. But in terms of keeping it accessible to tools that people most likely have, there's a lot of no-weld designs that we can tackle. Everything from really scary, PVC pipe designs, which I've seen, and they look kind of scary, but you know, I'm going to be the only one driving this thing, so I'm not too concerned. We can also use electrical conduit. There's actually a company that makes connectors to connect them all together if you want to build a go-kart or a desk, so that might be interesting. Or we can use square tubing with really high-grade bolts, you know. And again, this is just for me. We're not going to put any children in it or anything like that. And because you guys were so passionate about the Munsters, I thought, you know, I actually met Butch Patrick, super cool guy. He tours the country with the Dragula car and some of the other Munsters cars. So I thought, what if we were to build our own miniaturized go-kart electric Dragula car, you know, a little coffin rolling down. Now, of course, there's a lot of gas engine elements like the exhaust, the, you know, engine coming out at the top. We can probably add our own steampunk elements and Munsters inspired elements that would make sense for something like that, since this would be like an electric go-kart. And let me see if I can pop this up bigger for you guys here, and hopefully I'm not covering, oh no, I'm totally covering up the picture. Darn. So, and then Dale Benson is saying the go-kart is cool and I don't have a welder. I know a lot of us don't, you know, I have one, but then it's not just the welder that's the expense, it's the gas too. And those gas canisters can be really big, take up space. So I thought trying to challenge us to do a no weld kart design. And there are some designs out there that we can look at and get inspirations from. So if you are on Discord, you can click on these pictures to make them a lot bigger. And probably the thing that I like the most about this Dragula design, and I know like on the YouTube video, I am totally covering it, but it's the little candlelit headlights, I guess they would be. Little candlelit headlights I thought would be cool. We can add some flickering like LED lights. If we were to steampunk this just a little bit, we can add Edison bulbs. But the coffin design would give us plenty of space to hide, you know, batteries and things like that. And of course, this would be kind of a shrunken version. I can either make it out of wood, I think, or fiberglass. So think on that one, and it doesn't have to be the Dragula. It doesn't have to be a steampunk design. It can be a totally different design. But these are ideas that you guys were already throwing at me, so I blame you for all of this. All right, so a couple people liking the go-kart idea. And scrolling down, let me scroll all the way down and see what some of you were already saying. So Whiskey Dale says howdy, and I say howdy back. Geek Boy's already saying the barbecue caddy standalone, a Tesla coil. Ooh, I'll cover that. Plasma ball. Okay, I want to hear more about that. The Arduino Pi ultrasonic distance warning. A LiDAR distance warning, and a Pi security rover. Okay, all super good ideas and things that I think that we can build with easy to find materials. And then Curtis is saying hi, he's new here, so welcome Curtis. Any ideas that you have, definitely throw them either in chat or on Discord. Discord is a little bit easier because that's kind of like where I'm focusing, but I got the chat too, just in case some of you guys don't want to sign up for yet another platform, right? You got to remember a whole other password and a whole other, yeah, I know, I get it. I'm the same way. And then Whiskey Dale saying, build a satellite and have Elon Musk launch it for you. Yes. Does somebody have his number? Because I don't. I need to get his number for that one. Modify a minivan for more horsepower and torque for Curtis. Alrighty then. So I don't know if we can get a minivan in here. I don't know, we could try. Maybe I can bust through some of the walls. So let's see, already a couple ideas, and Geek Boy, if you can elaborate on the Tesla coil is pretty self-explanatory. The plasma ball, is it like DIY plasma ball, like building one from scratch? That's what I assume you mean. And then tell me a little bit more about these distance warning device and exactly what you're trying to, like an ultrasonic distance warning. What exactly are you trying to detect? If it's like an object or if it's some kind of wave. Same thing with the LiDAR one and the security rover. What kind of features would it have? Like, is it trying to detect an intruder? Is it supposed to just keep an intruder out? Is it mobile? So tell me a little bit more about that. And absolutely tell me more about this barbecue caddy. Is it a standalone caddy? So I imagine it's not just a barbecue, because we can buy that. Is it something that we remote control and it travels around to different people and they can serve up their own hamburgers and hot dogs, like say at a car show or at a maker fair or something like that? Or does it have any type of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth capabilities? Is it a smart barbecue caddy? So elaborate on all these because they sound super interesting. Of course, we always have the car ones, and I will go ahead and address the car thing. The car thing, we can definitely do all outside on the driveway. So the cars, we can do smaller projects. And the reason being is this. We don't have a dedicated spot for just automotive, and shooting exclusively outside is challenging because of the wind. I've done some client projects out there, and whether you have a lapel or you sound insulate the microphone, it's always like you get these really bad moments of like, hey, and today we're gonna, and you're like, oh God, and people are like, the mic. So shooting outside is a little bit of a challenge, but it's doable, especially if we're on the floor or ground and we're doing things like brake jobs or putting in new ball joints and things like that. So it's definitely doable. In terms of an entire restoration, because that's probably the one I get the most, is can you restore a car? I've had people actually want to send me their car to restore, and it's like, use it for your content. And I'm like, okay, but it costs $25,000 to restore a car. Where's that coming from? So restoring a car is huge, big time costly. And it's not something that I can just leave outside for the neighbors to just kind of give me the hairy eyeball. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some association letters over that. But car things, definite. Just keep them like small maintenance things. We can even do some upgrades like adding cold air intakes or new exhausts and things like that, or new suspension systems. So any singular thing we can probably do because we would be able to cover that in about a stream or two with the car. So keep those ideas coming. Like I love the minivan idea, and for more power and torque, I've always wanted to do one of those like shag carpet 70s minivans. So that's definitely on the docket and on the brain shelf as well. I just have to figure out the logistical ways of doing that. But the nice thing with a van is that we can shoot inside the van, and that's very sound insulated. So not a bad idea. So, all right, I got more of you guys chiming in down here. Oh yes, and then Curtis just repeated what we were just talking about. It was in chat and now it's over here. And Geek Boy says, so he, let's see here. Oh yes, so he introduced this idea. And then I want to know more about what this is. Like this is a drum cymbal, some kind of spinning electrical, type of thing. So I definitely want to see what more of that is. But getting back to our project here, and let me bring up the other chat. Got windows going on. All right, so going on with our projects, and just keep posting them down here in this this summer project, and I'll keep just scrolling up the page and seeing what you guys have in store. So we talked about the electric go-kart. So some of you are into that because of the no welding, and I'd be into that as well because I think it would be a great challenge. And then I thought, heck, I'm musical. I play electric violin. Some of you guys have seen the cover videos on my YouTube channel, although I haven't shot another one in a while. Maybe we can pick a cool cover to do with this project. And so I always thought about putting together a very cool musical Rubens tube. And that's basically you attach a speaker to the end of a sealed, typically metal tube, and the fire creates the wave of the notes that you're playing. So you see here these oscillations, and each sound frequency will give you the different oscillations. So when you're playing a track or you're playing some kind of solo, these fire mounds jump up and down depending on what notes that you're playing. So I thought that would be really cool. We can make our own mini shop concert, with that. And we can also tie that into a musical Tesla. coil. Now, I heard these are a little more complex to build, so I want to do a little more research, but I've always wanted to do a Tesla coil and imagine it going off with the different musical beats in addition to our Rubens tube. Now, you see that Rubens tube is just one long tube, but I've seen entire organs made out of fire, and I was kind of thinking about going that direction and just doing that. And having like an organ, we can make it curved. We can test out different designs and do kind of like a fire and electricity type of mini concert here and take requests and things like that. Maybe we can get a couple people in here and jam out together, as our final like reveal of the project. So there's always that. And then Tech is saying anything along the lines of 3D printing. Yes. I don't have a 3D printer, but it's something that I know I've been talking to some Wrench Army members about what kind, and starting to research. They do take up a bit of a footprint, but I've started getting through my scrap pile so I can put a 3D printer here and we can do some really cool projects. Now, of course, not everybody has a 3D printer, but what I find with 3D printing is I've seen YouTube videos where they 3D print a part as part of a larger build. And I'm like, heck, I can build that out of wood. So the nice thing with the 3D printing is that there's always a other option for people who don't have a 3D printer. Almost always, I'll clarify, almost always an option. So the 3D printing projects are definitely in. So any ideas along those lines, put them in the summer project channel. It just helps me kind of organize so I don't have to go through the chat on the YouTube, and then some of you do send me messages through social, so I cover all those. Sometimes it takes me a while to get to them because we all get so much spam and you don't know who's like scamming you and who's real. So I'm like carefully clicking on messages. So Dale Benson is saying, yes, 3D printing would be cool. So, okay, some of you guys are liking the 3D printing. We do have a 3D printing category right here on our Discord. So if you have projects or inspirations that you're thinking about, you can always post them here. I love watching other people's projects and see them kind of come along. Gives ideas, for my own projects. So moving along, we talked about the jam band, electric and fire type of thing. Also, I've always been interested in trying to make our own musical instruments out of trash, out of things that are lying around, like a guitar cigar box. I think that would be cool too, so those ideas kind of fall into this musical bucket, so there's kind of like an go-kart, somewhat automotive bucket here, musical bucket, pyro gloves. This is a project I started and then never finished. So I'm like, you know what? It's time to dust this thing off the shelf. So here's an example of this guy. It appears that he, built one. He's not wearing gloves, but it looks like it's tied to like a little gas tank down here underneath his like arm. And you can modify lighters to shoot fire a lot further. So we can make something that's very concealed in a motorcycle glove and do, some simple flame throwing with fire that's about the size of what you see here. Now, if you've ever seen Colin Firth's channel, he's a UK inventor. He, of course, has these giant tubes. It's in a backpack, and he's shooting like, fire that goes on forever. That's a much bigger build. So whether we want to do something big or if we're trying to do like a spy thing where it's more concealed, that's kind of the initial direction I was headed. But, we can steer the ship. We can steer the ship another way. And then we have life-size BB-8. And I thought that would be really fun to build one, figure out how the gyro system works inside, and then control it through a phone app using like either Arduino or a Raspberry Pi. So I've seen, there was one like teenager who built one, and he used a world globe, like we used to do in school. You go through the globe and pick out the countries that he cut in half, or you can use a beach ball that then you can just fiberglass around, or you can paper mache around and then sand everything smooth using putty, using magnets for the head, deodorize the little rollers that come in those old-fashioned deodorants for the balls that roll. So there's ways to kind of like hack this together, but there's also a lot of just pre-made robots that we can buy and modify. So I thought the BB-8 would be a fun thing. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, which brings me to number 5, which is any TV or movie props, that we can try and replicate, maybe add some functionality so it's not something that just looks pretty, something just that works and does some cool stuff, or approximates what you see that it does on TV. I thought that was, I think that would be a lot of fun. And I'm trying to talk to you guys with this eyeball and then use this eyeball to read the comments. So I end up a little bit like that. So Kurt is saying, I was thinking of a Dodge Caravan or Toyota Sienna minivan. What do you think? All right. Both good choices. So let's see here. Movie props, motorized couch. And of course, the most infamous one is Ed China. And I've met him in person, a super cool dude, very talented, very smart, and you can talk to him about projects all day long and you'll constantly get inspirations from him. So building some kind of motorized couch, and you can do this using old electric wheelchair motors, tying it to a couch somehow, and going out and being a couch potato literally all day. We can run all of our errands being a couch potato this way. So I thought that would be a fun build, and we can add our own elements that we can vote on if we want to add house plants or, anything like that. And then I've gotten requests for arcade machines, so we can do something that's tiny in a lunchbox or a suitcase, so it's very portable, and we build our own. Or I've seen some of these slim wall-mounted ones as well, and I think they're pretty cool. We can add the backlighting ourselves and try and build the frame. I thought that this would be a great, figuring out a whole bunch of stuff type of project, something that doesn't take up a lot of room, because I do have the giant Pac-Man arcade, and it's just, the footprint is ridiculous. And nowadays, you can just buy units that have thousands of games, all of the games. But with those units, you lose the old retro look. It's basically a tiny screen. It's almost like a Game Boy looking thing. So this is a way of bringing back that old look that we like, but not taking up too much room, not having that giant heavy thing that we have to drag around and move. And then the other thing I thought would be fun is a shop security system, because I know that I'm not the only one that has furry little shop helpers. And they come in sometimes when you're not looking, and they, especially cats, they love to get up on the workbench and just throw everything on the floor. You don't need this. It's look, I did you a favor. I cleared off your workbench. And so a lot of the work that we had done with our bubbler, that ended up on the floor. But luckily, it's still good to go. So they helped me out a lot. So I figured, what if there's a security system that I can use so I get alerted as to when they come into the shop? And so I thought some funny projects, we could build a lot of mini things to make a big security system. And so one of the things is kind of like a DIY laser tripwire grid. We can make this ourselves using Arduino and a photo sensor and a laser pen, and create a grid and see who can maneuver best in this grid. Is it one of the dogs or one of the cats, or heck me, I'll try and maneuver my own grid. So it's like that movie where Catherine Zeta-Jones goes under the tripwires and she acrobats herself across the room with all these tripwires. I always remember that scene. I'm like, I want to do that. So not only that, but a motion activated squirt gun I think would be fun, especially for the dogs in the summertime. They can cool off. They're always looking for some water to lay or, sleep in. A spy computer glasses. I saw this, which I thought was really interesting, where somebody modified a computer screen by taking off layers of the screen and a lot of the layers that go on top of the glass. So it's just white all the time. And then you use these glasses with polarizing lenses, so only you can see what's on the screen. So it's like a secret spy computer. So I could do that now in case somebody comes up behind me and they can see what we're planning. And that way it's secret, just between us. Except we're live streaming, so now everybody knows. That's poor planning on my part. So I thought those kinds of projects would be cool. I found a lock that we can set up that requires a specific knock sequence. So you can use it on a drawer, on a cabinet. And so you have to know or just you make your own your knock sequence and only you know it. So of course that's going to be very pet to deterrent right there, because I don't think they'll be able to figure out the knock. So, that would be kind of a silly and fun project that we can do together, and then put the pets through it, the little shop helpers, and see what they say. And TechStech is saying, I remember that scene too. Yes, that was a great movie. Especially, you have to kind of put your mindset in the time of those movies made, where the CG just wasn't there yet. So a lot of those movies had to really rely on the acting and the selling it to you aspect of it. So those are my ideas. You guys can either talk about it, toss them all in the trash. It doesn't offend me at all. I think it's a lot more fun when I try and build something we all want to see. And of course, it doesn't mean that I'll never build the projects. If I choose something that you're like, oh, rats, don't worry, your project is still on the list, and it'll come up again for a future planning session just like this. I thought it would be fun to do this together rather than having a poll up online where people just kind of chime in. This way, in us talking about it, you might be inspired by something that you're like, oh, I forgot about that. I've always wanted to do X, Y, and Z, so post it up and, we'll try and tackle it. Let's see here. So some are saying that the minivan project would take a lot of time. Now, there is truth to that. Yes, car projects do take a long time. And if you all remember, some of you that have been with me, very, very long, Gearhead Diva actually started as an automotive only channel. And I was restoring a 1973 Cuda and a 1951 Ford F1. And some of the challenges there is that this is not something you can just do in your driveway or a one-car garage. There are space requirements, for these things. And I shouldn't say you can't do it in a driveway. You can very much do it in a driveway. There are a lot of YouTubers and creators that are doing car work in their driveway and long-term car work in their driveway. But a lot of that depends on your neighborhood, neighbors, and association, mainly the association. So those types of projects are difficult. And so what I used to do in the past is just like rent a place, right? So some of the challenges there is that most places don't want you working on cars. They don't like that. So you have to rent a dedicated bay, and that's an entirely different price structure. So that's why I was saying small car things, that we can do in a couple streams, completely. I love working on cars. I still work on my cars to this day. The longer term projects are a little bit of a challenge because I can't do them, here, unless I can. First, we can build a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids gun. And then we shrink the van, and then we put it in here, and then we build it, and then resizeify it and put it back outside. So yes, I love the minivan project. But for this summer project, probably we'll put a pin in it, and then we'll bring it back again for the fall or winter, where we can find a bigger space where we can do a project like that. Plus, more hands on deck. We were talking about how I need some Igors up in here, so I can have Igor doing this and then me doing that, and get these projects and maybe do a couple of them at the same time. That would be fun. So yes, the minivan, I'm not going to lie, it's always been something that I've wanted to tackle, especially those old Astro vans. I would love to do a project like that. So getting back to some of your comments for the barbecue. I was thinking a rolling standalone caddy for all the barbecue equipment, but I like the smart drivable idea for sending the cooked food. Yeah, I like the stand for all the barbecue equipment. Yes, because my barbecue equipment, I have the gas grill outside, I have the tank, then you got your extra tanks, but all the cooking supplies and basically all the supplies are in the house. So you have to keep going back in and out, for the barbecue. So I like the caddy because we can also add cool lighting. We can also add a timer. So say you start cooking a burger and you have to flip it in a certain amount of time. Oftentimes I'll go back in the house if there's a cool movie on. I'm like, oh, what's this movie? Oh no, I gotta flip the burgers. So we can have little timers, maybe color changing lights that tell you hey, it's about rare right now, or it's well done. So green can be well done and amber can be medium rare. So there's some things we can do with this barbecue caddy, and it is very well timed for the summer. And we have Curtis with the van that we talked about, which I love that idea. Do something crazy with a small drone from Whiskey Dale. And this is something I've thought about. I've seen people build their own drones that are collapsible, right? And you can put them in your backpack and uncollapse them, or the word for uncollapse is not the correct word, but you know what, build it back out again and then send it off flying. So drone projects, I need to think on that a little more and look for some inspirations online. For this drone, for the small drone, we can add some things to it to make it do unique things. Like, are you using it more for racing? Like, I've seen those drone races online, which are super cool. I love watching those. And so we can make our own drone, like, obstacle course. We can try and build our own drone. I think that would be kind of a neat, challenging thing to do. Add a camera to it. So maybe we can take it inside buildings, with permission, and everybody knowing that this is happening. Or if it's like a really tiny drone, take it through like engine bays or places that maybe you can't access that would be kind of cool to get neat angles from. So the drone thing is neat. Maybe it can have like little Nerf things that it shoots out. This would be like a bigger drone, obviously, but you can do a lot with drones. And so that's kind of, a nice foundation for a cool project. So think on it and post more examples, ideas of the kind of drone project that you're thinking about. That's a great one. And then Geek Boy saying, by the way, both Arduino Pi projects will also detect ghosts. And so yes, we can make things that detect ghosts. And so there's some really good ideas going on here. And speaking of ghosts, I've always wanted to build like the Ghostbusters, either proton pack or the thing that, catches the ghosts. I'm spacing out on the name, but they throw it across the floor and it opens up and sucks the ghost into the little box, and then they put it into containment. So I love movie props, and I always like to try and make them function as much as I can. Obviously, the ghost catching, it would be difficult to prove or deny that it's working. I think like we as a society need better detection methods for ghosts and things. Although I love those shows on TV, I just can't stop watching them. So I've thrown out my ideas. You guys have thrown out some of your ideas. So let's start voting. One of the things I had here, I wanted to look up like no weld go-kart so we can take a look. So this guy used, I think I've seen this video before. He used electrical conduit and just used little conduit connectors that are made by a specific company. And they work really well. They're super strong, and it allows you to build basically any shape. I've seen people build them out of wood. Ouch, my bum. I can only imagine the wood go-karts. But it would be kind of neat to understand how the motors work, how to hook them up properly, how to get the wheels turning along with the motor. So I think rigging those things will be a great exercise. So we don't have to decide like right this second. Continue posting your ideas. Sometimes like something will come to you like hours later and you're like, I totally should have posted that, So there's still time, We're still wrapping up our lightning detector build. And then after that, as we're wrapping that up, that will allow me to start, finding some of this stuff, finding the stuff we need, getting the shop ready to build some of this. You see, even Colin here built this no weld go-kart himself. His is gas powered though. I thought doing electrical is kind of more applicable. It's easy to store, easy to transport. You don't have to worry about fuel or we're out of gas. No more fun for us. Yeah, so we don't want any of that happening. So there's definite ideas there that we can do, whether you guys want to go full on the Munsters. One of the ideas I had, let me just get rid of that. So one of the ideas I had was to incorporate, if we were going to do the Munsters, incorporate Munsters house elements into this, like where the engine is. Well, obviously we won't have that. So there's always that monster under the steps that can come out and periodically talk to us or talk to bystanders and things like that. The musical concert thing, we can do that. Dave's Geek Boys barbecue caddy, which would be super useful for this season. And these projects doesn't mean we won't do them. We're going to get around to them as well. They'll come back up for voting. So, of course, there's also the Tesla coil, the plasma ball. The minivan's a little tough, but any other car projects that are more like a singular task or something like that, we can definitely tackle these. Not all of these have to be inventions or builds that don't exist. Some of them can be kind of more tutorial type of things, or we can layer tutorials on top of the projects as well. So let me just get this chat out of the way. I think we have a good start here. Oh, Whiskey Dale, is this the barbecue caddy you were talking about? That's kind of a nice caddy. It looks like it's got kind of storage for the for the barbecue grill. This appears to be a charcoal grill, and then a couple places I imagine underneath where you can hang utensils. So I'm going to go through my utensils and see how many I have so we can figure out how many utensils we need, what kind of storage spaces. Do we want drawers or do we want them hanging? We can also have them magnetized across the side. So we can start posting different designs we see online. Like one place I hit up all the time is Pinterest, because whether it's a functioning one or not, it's a great place to just get inspirations from. So this is the one that Whiskey Dale posted, is a nice like wooden one. We can stylize these any way we want. We can paint them. We can make them look old, 1950s vintage, or we can make them look super like what would a Star Wars, barbecue caddy look like. So we can stylize them any way we want. Start thinking about the features we'd want it. Do we want just a barbecue caddy where it's a great organization tool, or do we want to add on to it, making it self-mobile or put any smart features in it? So post down here, because I am continually reading this stuff to get ideas from you guys. So it looks like we're leaning a little bit towards either the go-kart or this barbecue caddy. Those are the two that I see most talked about, and a little bit about the drone. So I can also toss my own ideas about the drone as well once I kind of like snoop around and see, ooh, look at what this person did. We can like take this as a base and then do this, and this. So let's see. And then Whiskey Dale says, I like your thinking, Rachel. Yeah. So the barbecue caddy thing is pretty cool. So let's see here. Any other ideas that I may have missed, because it does sound, let's see, out of David's list, we seem to be gravitating towards this barbecue caddy right there. And he's saying, right, borrow ideas. Yes, we'll borrow them and build upon them. But yeah, the barbecue caddy is cool. So between now and, the next, over the weekend or the next week, let's put more ideas down about either the electric go-kart idea or this barbecue caddy. But that doesn't mean that you can't throw other ideas out there, because sometimes after the fact, people have a great idea, throw it on here, and then sometimes that catches fire, and people are like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's awesome. Like the barbecue thing, I didn't even think about. And I'm like, I totally need that, and I would totally use it. So a couple more people are typing away there, and keep typing away. So let me update you on what's going to go on for the next couple weeks. Today is the last stream for May. Yes, because previously I had scheduled some downtime to upgrade some of this gear. Right now I'm like looking here but talking here, and then placing things now that we've got quite a few streams under our belts in a way that's like a little bit easier for me to manage, add some more interactivity for you guys, increase the number of streams. So I'm going to need some of that time to move things around. One of the things I'm going to do is add more monitors. I'm like shifting everything on this one monitor. So Whiskey Dale, it's called inspiration. Yes, that's the ticket. It is. It's a inspiration. So keep posting these, and I'm going to jump on Pinterest. And for you guys that just joined today, thanks for joining. And, keep checking back, posting up your ideas. Even if you haven't built anything, don't feel like you have to be building something to post in here. A lot of it is gathering inspirations and like, wouldn't this be a good idea? Or that be a good idea? And that kind of gets us thinking. And then, just post them according to the different channels. I'm on here most nights, just seeing what people are posting up my own things, or just to kind of like check in. It's a lot easier to like manage everybody on here, but I also go to every single social media platform as well and answer your questions there too. But the nice thing with this is that there's no algorithms, right? I can't tell you how many people are like, I missed your stream, you didn't post about it. I'm like, oh yes I did. So yeah, the algorithms get you sometimes, but you'll always know what's going on over here. Well, looks like everyone voted about democracy in action. Yes. So just because your suggestion wasn't chosen doesn't mean it wasn't chosen yet. It's always yet. And neither was mine. Me and Curtis are in the same boat. I put out like 10 things and none of them got chosen because I really like this idea. So, and I accept a little bit of the electric go-kart. So I'm going to keep checking in on this. And like I said, no stream next week. We'll have maybe a stream or two in early June. Then for the rest of June, or even before June ends, we're going to like really fly through the rest of the Franken lighting detector that we were building. And there's not much more to do with that. We just have to put in the lighting scheme and then the final assembly where everything comes together and see if they all talk to each other and works. Yeah, so that's kind of like what we're going to do. But that doesn't mean that I'm not around or anything like that. Definitely, you'll see my posts going up on social media. I'm, on here quite often, so hit me up here. And also, I'm working on a client project. And if you're a Wrench Army member, over the next week, I will be posting about it and you'll be able to watch the progression of this project. Some of you guys know me from All Girls Garage, and that's how you've seen me and found me online. But before then, I actually worked behind the camera and doing program development, script writing, also technical directing, and building props. And so this particular job is one of those, building props. So you'll see that, come along, and it's going to happen in this From the Shop channel right here. So Wrench Army members can check out how this is coming along, what it's going to be used for. And I think it's quite fun. So I'll be working on that within the next 2 weeks as well, while upgrading all this stuff. And we'll be jamming in June. Yeah. And even more so in July, because I think I'm aiming for July to start either this barbecue that it looks like it's going to happen, or the go-kart project. And we're going to burn rubber, because in the fall, I'm sorry, I'm reserving that one. I want a Halloween project, for the fall, some kind of crazy animated Halloween project. But enough of that. I think like our brains are just kind of bleh, they're emptied. We need to refuel our brains with some food and chicken drumsticks. I know David is always posting food on the chat, and I'm always like, oh, must eat. So thank you guys for joining me. I had a blast doing this together with you, and it's way more fun doing this together than it is alone, picking out a project and then like hoping you guys will like it. This is something I think that we can all be into if we pick it together. And once it's picked, it's not like a sealed deal. The project, we can add features as we go, as we build, like, oh, let's add this or that, and I didn't think of this. Yeah, and the project starts to take a direction, and what you end up with, like I said before, is very rarely what we start with, so like some kind of spaceship barbecue thing rather than a regular barbecue thing. So, there's way more comments over here, and Tech saying an electric two-wheel scooter would be easier. Yes, All Girls Garage. Some of you guys know me from there. Dale Benson, thank you for the super chat. $5. That's awesome. Like I always say, every little bit helps. And when you look at the receipts for like the big items that you buy and the small stuff like sandpaper and wire for all the soldering, speaking of soldering, that's really the stuff that adds up. And that's really what helps keep propelling these projects forward and allowing us to add multiple layers. And also a special thanks to our Wrench Army members that have joined us today. They're really the drivers of a lot of these projects and keeping these streams going. And all of you participants, watchers, commenters as well, because by you guys watching and commenting, you're basically telling the rest of the world and YouTube, the YouTube landscape, the Twitch landscape, that we have some kind of fun going on here, and maybe you all should join, right? So thanks to all of you guys for joining, and I will catch you in June, but in the meantime, stick on Discord throughout these days and weeks, because I'm on here most nights. So I will catch you guys later, and let's focus in on these projects and make kind of like a features list so I can start buying parts or, finding them in junkyards and stuff. All right, or maybe at the dollar store. I'll see you guys, and I'll catch you guys later.